Welcome to Learning Function in C Language. I am G. Sahasra, a first-year student from IT Department, SAHE University. Well, functions are more like building blocks, so let's get through.
Let us start with the basic definition of functions. A function is a self-contained block of code that performs a specific task and is executed upon calling. It takes some input parameters, processes it, and may return a value based on the inputs given. Functions help in breaking large programs into small manageable parts. That says that a function is actually a block of code which resembles a set of conditions or rules which are to be executed when the function is called. That is, when in a code we have 2 to 3, like more than one time a specific block of code has to be repeated, then functions are used in order to make it simple and make the code more readable. So the advantages of functions are: a function can be written once and used multiple times in the program. Large programs can be divided into smaller parts for easy management, as we have discussed earlier. And readability, functions make code more structured and easier to understand. Debugging made easy, errors can be easily located in smaller blocks of functions. Now, errors can be located easily in functions because rather than checking whether it is wrong or right in the whole code, we can directly go to the function that is declared before and then check for the error in the code. So reduced code duplication, we don't require to write the same code again and again. Rather than, we can call the function again. So the usage of functions are widely used in programming for the following purposes: code reusability, write once, use many times without rewriting; divide larger problems into smaller independent modules, make the program easy to read; errors can be traced, and complex operations can be hidden inside functions, exposing only simple usage to the program. Now that we have known about the definition and the usage and advantages of functions, let us go into the syntax of function. So the syntax of functions actually have function declaration, function calling, and function defining. In C language, function declaration is something like a prototype. That is the simple and the first thing that we require in order to give the final product. So the function prototype or declaration, it tells the compiler about the function name, its return type, and parameters before the function is used. Its syntax is simple. The return type, that is, if the return type is either it is void or int. And function name, that is, for suppose if we are writing a function for sum or addition, then we can name it as sum. And then the parameter list, like for suppose the sum is for two numbers, then I would take the two numbers as int a and int b. So here's an example for some int, that is, it returns a value, then add the name of the function, int and int. Now let's go on to the function definition. It contains the actual body or the logic of the function. The syntax is return type, function name, and parameter list, then the statements. These statements here include the logic or the next specific series or the steps that are to be performed, and the return value, that is the value which the function returns after performing the specific steps of code. And here is a small example for the definition of function. So here we have the return type, its name, and the two values which we take as input for the function, and the mathematical operation that is to be performed and returned after the sum is done. So the third one is function calling. This is the process of using the function inside the program. That is, when this specific block of code is to be used inside the program, then we call the function by its name or a reference. So the syntax for calling a function is function name and its arguments. Example: int result is equal to add 5 by 3. Here we are calling the function for which we have already given the definition and the declaration in the before just a few minutes earlier. So now let us look on to a complete example in C. As we know, first we have included the header file. After that we are doing the function declaration, that is telling about its return type, then for which we have already given the definition and the declaration in the before just a few minutes earlier. So now let us look on to a complete example in C. As we know, first we have included the header file. After that we are doing the function declaration, that is about its return value and giving it its input parameters. After that we have declared two variables and given them two values, after which we are calling the function by its name. After that we have defined the function, that is given its block or set of logic that it performs when it is called. So now here, as we are given x is equal to 10 and y is equal to 20, when the function is called and sum is equal to add x comma y, the function that is defined here, it returns a plus b, that is sum is equal to x plus y, which is equal to 10 plus 20, which gives us 30, and as an output we get 30. Now that we have learned about function, declaration of a function, definition of a function, and then calling of a function, let us go on to definition of recursion. So recursion is a process in which the function calls itself directly or indirectly to solve a problem. It is generally used when a problem can be broken into smaller subparts of the same type. That is, when the same block of code is to be repeated a number of times, then recursion is useful. So now let us see on to the standard examples of recursion, that is factorial using recursion. So as we know that factorial of a number is equal to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 so on up to 1. Now let us write a C code for it. So first we are declaring the function in order to find it, that is if n is equal to 0 or n is equal to 1, then it is the basic condition that it returns to 1, that is about its return value and giving it its input parameters. After that we have declared two variables and given them two values, after which we are calling the function by its name. After that we have defined the function, that is given its block or set of logic that it performs when it is called. So now here, as we are given x is equal to 10 and y is equal to 20, when the function is called and sum is equal to add x comma y, the function that is defined here, it returns a plus b, that is sum is equal to x plus y, which is equal to 10 plus 20, which gives us 30, and as an output